re, 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 recheck, re, 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 check, 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 check.
Testing. Good morning to everyone. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will be glad and rejoice in it. That verse comes from Psalms 118 and 24, and we are really delighted to be here, and we thank God for his blessings for us. I'm Rosa Williams, and I will be presiding today on behalf of the Elm Grove Baptist Church family, the pastor, Reverend Dr. Errol K. Domain, and the Elm Grove Baptist Church Legislative Committee. I now declare the House open for our forum, interpreting the April 14th through June 12th, 2025 legislative session and how it affects us. We will now be led in prayer by Reverend Wellborn.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning. First of all, thank you for your goodness and your mercy. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us all to gather here, putting our minds together, Lord, receiving knowledge for what you have in store for us. We ask, Lord, to allow our ears to be open, to allow us, Lord, come to a conclusion, Lord, that you want us to have. We know, Lord, it's about the vote, Lord. We know that we have power you have given unto us. So we thank you for the power, Lord, that you have invested in us. We thank you for the time that you allow us to come here and to be together, Lord. And we ask you, Lord, that as we continue, Lord, to come together and to share the things that you have in store for us, knowing, Lord, that we as a people will make a difference. Because you, Lord, are the difference maker, and we believe in you, and we trust in you. So we give you glory, we give you honor, and we give you praise. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Thank you, Minister Welborn. At this time, we will have our greeting and purpose by our pastor.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history.
They must think that I'm like King, huh? Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us in what I think is an important conversation for our community. We certainly want to greet you into this, what we consider a sacred space, where we meet with the Lord on a weekly basis. Thank God for you and your attentiveness to what is happening in our community. We are grateful for our state representative, Sister C. Denise Marcell. And like most of the people who represent us, I say this in a teasing manner, but also I'm serious. She fights the good fight in the legislature, but please don't forget that she ain't nothing but a little church girl, right? She knows the Lord, and so we're grateful and thank God that you took the time to come and share with us. I want to welcome Bishop Conway Knight in here with us. Would you please give God a hand for him as he serves in our community in a leadership role as well. Purpose for this gathering is so that we will know what is going on and know what to do about it. It's just that simple. No sense in collecting information and going home and sit on it, right? So we hope that we will be inspired and as we move on with our lives and try to set a tone and set the table for those who will come after us. Again, welcome into the space, and we thank God for each and every one of you.
Good morning. This morning we have a dynamic speaker, and we're going to listen to what she has to say about our legislative sessions and how we are to maneuver in voting. C. Denise Marcell is a Democratic member of the Louisiana House of Representatives serving District 61 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. First elected to the chamber in 2015, Marcell currently serves on the Appropriations Committee, the Municipal, Parochial, Cultural Affairs Committee, the House and the Governmental Affairs Committee, and the Joint Legislative Committee on Budget. She also serves on the Capital Region Legislative Delegation, Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, the Democratic Caucus, and the Louisiana Legislature Women's Caucus. She has formerly served on East Baton Rouge Parish Metropolitan Council from 2009 through 2015, a seat that she held until her advancement in the Louisiana House of Representatives, where she is currently. Her affiliations and leadership role are numerous, and she is a proud member of a Delta Sigma Theta sorority and the top ladies of distinction. Marcell is an elected member of both the Democratic Parish Executive Committee and the Democratic State Central Committee. As you can hear, she is well-rounded. Graduating from Southern University with a BA in Criminal Justice, Representative Marcell has worked in the legal field for over 40 years. Outside of her legislative work, she is the Director of Community Outreach at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys and is also a licensed notary public. She attends Disciples Outreach Ministry Church, where she serves on the ministerial staff. Representative Marcell enjoys serving her community, shopping, and traveling. She is the proud mother of 2 daughters and is also a grandmother and a great-grandmother. Is that correct? That is correct. So at this time, without any further ado, I would like for you to welcome Representative C. Denise Marcell. And if you want, you want to stand or sit? Okay, well, no. I gotta move, I got another mic. I have I'm gonna bring your mic. I'm gonna bring your mic.
So,
Okay, sit.
let me stand for a minute.
You gonna stand?
I'm gonna stand for a minute.
Okay, whatever she wants to do, we'll advise.
Good morning, Elm Grove and the other invited churches. I wouldn't get up here without saying good morning to Bishop Conway Knighton because he think I'm a member of his church. I want to thank you all for inviting me here to give an overview of the legislative session so that you can have the information that you need to make the best decisions about voting and about I think it's picking up that one as well. Yeah, thank you. About voting and about what you can do about it. We are in a very strange time in this nation. I think everybody in here knows that. Amen? Y'all gonna talk back to me? And so a lot of the things that you see that were presented in the Louisiana House of Representatives are measures that came down from the federal government. I don't know if y'all saw me on Channel 9 the other day about this bill that they passed by Senator Fessy. And I'm just talking now, I'm gonna go to the overview. But there was a bill, and there's a movement by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Y'all know her? Okay. About dropping stuff into the atmosphere to start rain. Now, we got a lot of problems in Louisiana, environmental problems, and that ain't one of them. And so he passed it, but it was brought on our side, on the House side, and it came on the floor, and I was asking the author, who didn't know what she was talking about, she just is spaced out as Marjorie Taylor Greene, about the bill. And I asked her, when do we see these things? She said, I see them on the way to the Capitol. I said, well, I'm looking up, and we looking in the same sky, and I don't see it. So it went viral because I questioned her, and she really didn't have no answers, just what they're telling her in D.C. So the ideologies that they are pushing in D.C. are trickling down to us. And so we really was on the defense in the legislative this year. Wasn't much we could do besides fight bad bills. Very few bills got through the session that we wanted. And here's the reason why. We have 39 members in the Senate. Of those 39 members in the Senate, 11 of them are Democrats. So when people, when you shopping, or, I'm just, because I like to shop, you heard, when I'm traveling, people will walk up to you, what y'all doing down there? Y'all ain't doing that. We have 39 members in the Senate that vote. Of those 39 members, only 11 are Democrats. So basically, we're outnumbered before we get started, right? Sometimes we can pick up some of the other people on certain bills, but pretty much whatever Jeff Landry wants, Jeff Landry gets. And he has taken the position, and I get along with him. People think that's weird, but we get along. He has taken the position that he will come to the House floor. And that's not typical for governors, to sit there and make sure that the members that really don't even, they know it's a bad bill. They know it's a harmful bill. And they really don't want to vote for it. They're Republican, but they don't want to vote for it. And sometimes we have what's called walking. If they really don't, they try to act like they have something else to do and they'll walk out. Well, they ain't doing that to Governor Jeff Landry, because he'll come there and ask them where they're going. Sit down and vote. So we are in a very precarious time, and it's very difficult to be there. We have 105 members in the House, and even less blacks. So the Black Caucus consists of 32 members, so you do the math. We're outnumbered in the House, and we're outnumbered in the Senate, to start off with. So let me tell you about some bills that passed that you really, I can give you the appropriations. I got all the stats. If y'all want to know how much money Louisiana had, I can go over that. But I think what's important is that Representative Freiberg from Baton Rouge, many of y'all may remember her from being on the school board, and then she went on to be on the council, and now she's a state rep. It surprised me that she brought the bill. But she brought a bill that decreases the number of African-American voters, African-American judges in the 19th JDC. Did y'all hear me? That bill came to House and Governmental Affairs. That's where we need to see y'all fighting for us. Although the bill got out, I questioned her extensively on the bill. Finally, I asked her, what is this bill really about? Is it to decrease the number of blacks on the 19th JDC? And she said, yes. Can you imagine that? So it's too many blacks. Then she made the comment that we're not going to get qualified judges unless we do this bill, and what they want to do is do 7 and 7, and one of them run parish-wide. The problem, and people say, well, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is that you're going to have some judges running in these very large districts. That means it takes a lot of money to run. You got to cover more ground. When you see those mailers come to your house, that's a lot of money. So you either got to have a terrific ground game or a lot of money to send those mailers that y'all see. You will notice that during election time when you receive those mailers, it's not a lot of us that's sending the mailers over and over again because we don't have that kind of money. What I'm telling you is that they are making it harder for us to win. I proposed a bill that said if the makeup of Baton Rouge, I got the number in here somewhere, I ain't good on the numbers. If the makeup of Baton Rouge is such that we should have more white judges in the 19 JDC, then that means that we should have more black judges on the Court of Appeals. Hello, somebody. Because they will not redistrict that court because they have the majority. We have one judge. Now, this is the same parish that she's talking about, that she wants to make it even in 19 JDC. Well, if you're going to make it even in 19 JDC, for those judges, let's do Court of Appeals. Same committee voted my bill down, and it passed her bill. The problem with her bill is multifaceted. It went into effect upon the governor's signature. That means that the people that were already running, I know y'all saw the signs, Vernon Thomas, Vicky Jones, who else is running that race? Whoever, I can't think of all of the people. That means that they have to run in the new district that they just did. And people look and say, well, what does that really mean? It really means that we, as African Americans, need to go to the polls and vote. A lot of times we have the numbers and they say, well, we're going to give them a district that they should be able to win. They can win. But if they give us, let me tell you that they're trying to change my district, this district right here. The proposal for this district right here is 50% African Americans. That means that if Southern have a game, I'm just telling y'all, if Southern has a game, they say, well, you know, Denise, you can win that. If Southern has a game, all us going to the campus or wherever, Jackson State or wherever, and we're not going to vote that day. And we don't forget the early vote, and we're going to end up with somebody that don't look like me in his seat. And that would be a travesty. So they're changing the numbers to make it look like, okay, with the number of Democrats you got in that district, the number of blacks, you could win that seat. But they ain't all voting. And that's the problem. And really the problem is on us. Let me just say that. But the reality of it is that's what they are doing. That bill passed. The only thing that not the only, but one of the things that I liked about what did pass was, I'm going to give you the number of the bill. They increased the age of the judges to 75. They could stay at age 75. And you people might ask, why you want old people? Because they have experience, and they've been there, and it's hard to beat them. And it's us, okay? So why do we want to open up that seat? Now we've been looking, and it passed, but it has to go to the voters. That's what I want to talk to you about. It's a constitutional amendment, okay? So in order for it to be law, that means y'all have to go to the polls and vote for it. First of all, it's discriminatory on its face to say that when you become 70, how many people, I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but how many people in here 70 are close to it or walking the door knocking on it? That means that somebody might say, well, when you get to be 70, you don't need to pastor. Reb. Just listen to just break it down to what it really is saying. But those same judges can come back and sit ad hoc. Now wait, they not fit to run again, but we're going to use them to ad hoc. They ad hoc all over the state. That's crazy. It's discriminatory. And to be honest with you, I've heard a lot of our people, the young attorneys, come in and say, well, yeah, they need to get out the way. Us. I have heard people say that. I don't support that. That is crazy because we don't have an age limit on us. That means we're the ones writing the law. So if they're not qualified to preside over the law that we make, then we ought to be gone at 72, right? That means something go wrong with my brain in about 5 years. I'm ready to get out at 65. But these are the types of issues that we're facing. Some good news that came out of the legislature, and I think that's a good thing, is that we put some money aside for the fortified homes. We got a whole lot of people that never got the money to fix their homes. And that was in Senate bill. It's established an income tax credit for taxpayers who have fortified roof installed on their properties so that when the storm comes, they ain't got to worry about trying to fix your roof. Because if you get a fortified roof, it's going to withstand the storm. But if you get that, you get a tax exempt if you have the money to get it. SB 52 exempts grants for the fortified home program. And HB 145 increases the maximum amount of the construction code. And what we really need to do is not only look at that code, but go to the local code and the permits. We have a lot of issues when it comes to us fixing our houses because most of them it ain't in our names because it was Big Mama's house. Amen, somebody. And none of y'all stay in Big Mama's house or your brother or sister, somebody. And then something happens to the house and it's in everybody's name, no succession. We really need to get our house in order in terms of succession. We don't like to do it because it's going to make one of the children mad. But you know, if you leave it to them, it's going to be sold or it's not going to be taken care of. We parents, we know our children. I'm lucky I got two daughters that it don't matter which one of them I leave it to. They taking care of me right now. But everybody, and I've seen it in my own family, we won't sit down and do a will. It's a will. Because you know who's going to take care of business and who's not. So when the house get hit, then the people at FEMA say, I can't pay you because this ain't your house. We got a lot of issues with that, and we got a lot of issues on the local level with permitting. They're making it harder and harder for you to repair these houses. Because pretty much we're going into, and I don't want to go into the city stuff, they want property close to LSU. Amen, somebody? South Baton Rouge, if you got some property over there, they want it. So if they come in and tear the property down, then you ain't gonna pay. Everybody gonna say, I ain't paying no taxes on that. I ain't paying no tax. They're gonna take it. So those are some of the things that we had going on in session. You heard a lot about civil lawsuits. Ain't nothing but fluff. Your insurance ain't going down. I promise you. Every bill we pass and they say this is going to help your insurance, it doesn't. It helps the insurance companies. You now have a bill that has passed that says that if you don't have no insurance, if you just having your insurance is having to lapse, and somebody hit you and they wrong, the first $100,000 you can't recover. Now, who do you think they targeting that at? I can't hear you. Okay. Those are the kind of bills that have passed. And you need to know that. We need to keep insurance on our cars. We tried to get, and I think, I gotta go back and look, but I think last year we may have gotten some help. We've been fighting to get, some delays in there, where because some people are working and they money short. Because we ain't paying people what they deserve in the first place in Louisiana. So they won't raise the minimum wages. That's a whole nother fight that I had over and over again. I told the opponents and the committee, I don't even want nobody to come up here. I don't need the AFL to see y'all, none of y'all. Don't even come up here, because I know I know how y'all gonna vote. But I'm gonna put this on the record, that you all need to raise the minimum wages. $7.25. So how do people make it? How do you make it? They will not, and so you ask, and many people ask, why can't y'all do that? Because the committees are stacked. The committees are stacked because that's the way they want it, number one. But more importantly, those first numbers that I gave you of how many African Americans we have and how many Democrats, I think only 3 of our Democrats are white on the House side. And we have to watch them sometime on bills. You have to go back and say, and they'll say, well, I don't, because my district is, a little bit more, conservative. And to be quite honest with you, we should go back and look at the votes of our African Americans. Hello? Hello? Just because they making Facebook posts that they fighting. Either, and I have this thing that I'm big about, if you're silent, you're complicit. So you just sit there. You ain't have nothing to say. One example was yesterday, and I had to be in a joint budget. That's the appropriations, a part of the appropriations committee. Appropriations is the money committee where everything comes through. And because I'm on appropriations, I'm also on joint budget, which meets throughout the year, various times. They just called a meeting, and they called a meeting, and they was going over the budget, and they skimmed past SNAPs, and what was gonna go down on SNAPs, how we was gonna lose money, and they skimmed past DFS. And I waited for somebody to push their button. Nobody pushed their button. So, I said that I was on a lot of medication yesterday just to be there. I said, I'm just gonna sit here and I ain't gonna say nothing. But I couldn't. I pushed my button, and they said, oh, we got one question, Representative Marcell. I do. Can you go back to SNAPs again? So we're going to lose money because of the big, beautiful bill. Is that what you're saying? Somebody need to say that. Why do we have African Americans sitting? I don't want to talk about nobody, but I'm serious. Why nobody said nothing? And DCFF, so you're telling me now that we got to pay. I said, let me see, because my math a little off today. You said we used to pay 50-50, now we got to pay 75-25, so it's going up 25%. That's why all these red numbers are in here. Because that means we don't know how we're going to pay for this. So the ones that they targeted, I want you to hear me, is SNAP. That is is feeding poor people. What do you think is going to happen when they can't do it, when we don't have enough money? That means they're going to cut some people off. They're going to have to change the benefits. They're going to have some hungry children. And that infuriates me. They was like, oh, Denise done woke up. No, I cannot let her sit here and say that. And it wasn't her, but it was the facts. She was giving us the facts. And not say I said, I want to make sure I'm correct that because of the big, beautiful bill that Cassidy say is good, right? That we're going to lose money for children to eat. That's what you're saying to me, right? She said, yes, ma'am. You would think at that point somebody else black would jump on board and say something, right? Silence. And not because I just think that when we have people out here like Cassidy and like the other crazy one, I can't even call his name, Kennedy. Oh, Lord. Kennedy, every time he opens his mouth, he say something crazy. When we have people out here say, this is going to be good for Louisiana, somebody need to be saying, children are not going to be able to eat because of this. Here are the numbers. The numbers are the numbers. You're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And the fact of the matter is, the big, beautiful bill is going to hurt Louisiana people. And I don't hear nobody talking about it. We got a forum with the Black Caucus, and I'm trying to see if the Black Caucus don't say something. Because a statement should have been made by now already from us. That we're not going to stand by, we're going to fight. Even if we lose, that we're going to fight to get these funds back. That is crazy to me. But this is the things that we're facing in the legislature. And I can tell you that the appropriations, we have, in total, the general appropriations, House Bill 1, has $46 billion in it. Of those appropriations, 23.7 is in federal funds. Now, some of the stuff that he is changing is going to change that number, the federal funds. Because when you know you need matching funds, y'all know anything about federal government and the state funding? You need a lot of things that we do here, we have to have matching funds. And SNAP is one of them. Now, the crazy thing that passed about SNAP that starts next year is you can no longer buy potato chips and cold drinks. Did y'all know that? And that's so they can be healthy. You want them to be healthy? Make the fruit stands that don't take food stamps, take food stamps. Hello, somebody. They don't even take them. They don't even want it. So, but you want them to be healthy. You should have passed a bill that say, we're going to give you an incentive, the fruit stands, to sell and take SNAP. But instead, you said the children can't have potato chips and cold drink. That's crazy. It's always targeted at the poorest people in our state. And that's why I fight. That's why I get up when I don't feel like going down there and I know I'm outnumbered and I know ain't nobody else gonna say nothing. I fight. Because it bothers me. I don't know how people sleep at night. But we have a lot of parties though. We have a lot of parties. I'm just saying. I see Vicki Jones came in. I was trying to call all the people's name in the race, and I couldn't even think of it too. But I talked to them about you having to run now in a larger district, and no one has said anything because the governor signed Freiberg's bill. Am I correct? Okay, that's costing you more what? A whole lot more money. And we before you got here, you weren't here when I talked about it, were you? I didn't see. We have to stand firm and go back to, and everybody say, well, marching, they ain't doing nothing. We got to go back to the church people, getting these people to vote, right? And protesting this. Let people know if you complicit, then you say, oh, that's okay. They don't need no cold drink. They don't need no potato chip. But we're going to give more money in the same budget to rich children to go to private schools. Amen, somebody. You ain't told them what kind of chips to eat. I'm just saying. We passed the budget, L.A. Gator, and he wanted more money than he got. But thank God for the Senate. They didn't give him all the money he wanted. And they said, oh, well, this is where anybody can go to a private school with this money. Now, some of us, we got some black folks that called me and said, I like that bill because I'm going to try to get my child in. How many black children do you think they're going to let in? First of all, you got to get through that application process. And if you got a problem child that's been fighting in the EBR school, I got one. I got a great-granddaughter. She can't stay in nobody's school. As soon as she get there, she start fighting. They're not going to take her. They ain't going to take her. Why would they take her? Who do you think they're going to take? They're going to take the kids that's already there, number one. So we had to put an amendment on it that said that so many of them had to be, but still, it's a lot of money. Why we and on the debate, I said to them, why would I want to pay for Gordon McKernan children to go to school? I work for the man. I love that man. Pay me every 2 weeks. But why would we give him money? And his children are out of school, but I use him for an example, right? Or Dudley and DeBosia. We can use some of them. They got some kids, and oh hell, that's some free money. What person gonna pass up free money and they already in school? They gonna apply too, because people who got money, guess what? They want to keep it. And if there's a way for them to have a tax credit, they're gonna use it. Now they can take that money that they already had saved up, because we don't have ours saved up for our children for schools. We try to figure out where they're going when they get there. And they already got theirs saved up. Now they can take that and give that to them on their house. We ain't got to do that. We're going to just give it to them on the house. But we are in that kind of time in the legislature. I'm going to stop talking to see if y'all got any questions. And I will tell y'all about capital outlay just a little bit. Capital outlay, people don't understand it, is when you're getting roads built or projects built, and you have to put it in by November that you want it. And you have to have a legislator or a senator, somebody trying to help you push it if you got a project. And they put them in, they'll put the money there like you got it, and they list it from priority 1 to priority 5. If you see your institution that you're building in priority 5, you ain't getting nothing. It's just on the paper. It's just there. So I think we really need a little bit more education on capital outlay and how do you get it, and it's really about relationships down there. There's no way that Baton Rouge shouldn't have a loop, and Lake Charles got a loop. Hello? They got loops all over. They don't even have people on the interstate. But that was because during that time when they got that money, they had people that was from that area, and they got the money to do it. I don't know what our people's doing over here, because we still ain't got loop. And we're now closer to getting, we putting money aside. We did put money aside for the bridge, for the new bridge that we need so desperately. So we're working on that. We don't have enough, but we're steady putting money over that. Y'all have any questions y'all want to ask me about this legislative session or any of these bills that really hurt us for, in my opinion, for those lawsuits. That's not going to make our insurance go down.
Why are the other black legislators didn't join the fight to save SNAP?
To what?
Why the other black legislators
Mm-hmm.
did not join the fight to save SNAP? That SNAP is
Well, I mean, it wasn't, let me just say this. It wasn't going to change in that room because they were just presenting the entire budget. But I was listening, right? And SNAP and DCSF was a part of it. My point was we should be speaking out about it. It wouldn't have changed in there, but again, okay, so I'm gonna tell you the importance of being on appropriations. I'm on appropriations, and they came in there and they had taken money from domestic violence. Y'all know I was stabbed. So I don't play by domestic violence. So years ago, 20-some years ago. So I saw it. I mean, they go through the budget, they going through it fast, you're gonna approve it, right? I saw the money and I stopped them. I said, back up, let's go back. Why do they not have enough money to sustain them? It's domestic violence. This state has more women being killed than anywhere else. Are you not concerned about that? That's what you got to put on the record, right? Who wants that on the record that they don't care about women and women vote? So I said, I need somebody to answer to me. So at the time, Taylor Barra, who works for the governor, was sitting there. And he said, well, the governor believes that too. Well, can you guys work with me to restore this money to domestic violence? But you got to say that. Now, it didn't happen that day, but they committed because you got them on the record. All I'm saying is you got them in here. You got them sitting here. Ask them the hard questions. Let them lie to the people or change it. But if you don't say anything and everything just slides through, Southern University have gotten a great deal of money. We have been pushing for them in the last couple of years. And they got some money now for renovations. They got a new building coming up. But that was because we was saying Southern ain't got their fair share. But somebody got to say that first. If you don't say nothing, and that's what I meant by it grieved my spirit. Maybe it didn't grieve nobody else's spirit that they gonna take money from SNAPs and DCFS. We already got problems with DCSF. So what are we gonna do? Let's talk about it. And I didn't really go in depth about it. All I wanted to say was the big, beautiful bill is taking money from Louisiana, and we're losing money in SNAPs and DCFS because that's the numbers. You're the numbers person. I just thought that maybe somebody would jump on board and say some more stuff about it, but they did not. I can't answer why people are complicit and silent. But we need to know that, and y'all need to know that. The only way you know that is you go down there and see who ain't talking. Or who ain't, don't say nothing on the stuff when it comes to the House floor. When we got important bills, you saw us all go to the floor on the DEI. First thing they said was, this is the Black Caucus. The Black Caucus. We're going to figure out who's going to go up and speak, and somebody's going to go up and speak and give our position. I said, well, I don't know who y'all figuring out on, but I serve on House of Governmental Affairs, and I fought the bill in there, and guess what? I'm going to fight it on the floor, so y'all can do what y'all want, but ain't nobody going to stop me from going to the floor on the DEI bill. Y'all know about the DEI bill, right? Where they trying to take that from us. They say we don't need no advantage, right? So the doors that have been open for us, they want to close them. And wasn't nobody going to stop Miss Marcell from going to the floor. So after I said that, some kind of way, the whole caucus came down to the floor. Everybody spoke. But that's good. I was glad. But I'm just telling you, when you ask me about the Black Caucus, they kind of like want to pick a point person. But none of y'all came into, and I'm going to say this, not one Black Caucus member came to fight the bill in the committee. It came through House and Governmental Affairs. Now, me and Candace Newell fought it because we on the thing, and Delicia Boyd. But that was it. So I don't know how you get that answer.
So this is a question from somebody watching on YouTube. What tactics can you suggest to get these young voters out to vote because the baby boomers are fading away?
Well, it's strange you asked me that. I spoke to John Smith yesterday, and he said he think we've been using the wrong approach, trying to talk to the kids. We need to talk to the parents, because a part of the problem is the parents that we have now aren't training the kids that's under them. And so we need to figure out a way to get to the parents. And I told him, I said, well, you know, I didn't hear anything else about it, but I passed a bill last year that said, you know how the parents come to the school and get in the fight themselves? I passed a bill that said you must take a class to know what conflict resolution is if you go on a school campus. I ain't heard a word about it. Not one word. But to answer your question, it's going to be tough to get to those kids because they really are not involved. They're not involved because nobody is saying, like I'm saying, if you under my roof, you got to be a registered voter because I'm feeding you. And when we get there, well, their parents, that's what I'm saying, their parents are not gone. And the truth of the matter is the people that were hurt the most with the snaps and with the DCSF are the people that didn't go to the polls. They the people that didn't go. I'm down here fighting for you, and you saying, well, it don't matter. And the real crazy thing is when I'm running, it really just grieves me when I'm running and I go and ask somebody, I say, well, she came by first and I just told her to put the sign there. Like what? So if somebody comes to your house and say, I'm supporting Trump, can I put, that's what I tell them. You let them put a Trump sign? Well, no. Well then, what do you say? I'm gonna vote for you, but just leave a sign there. Why? Something wrong with our thought process. I'm serious. What's that about? What is that about that whoever pay us the most money, that's who we going with? Not who is the best candidate, who pays us the most money. And that's where that's where we are. And it's election day, and everybody gonna make $100 or $125 to push for this person, and then they ain't gonna fight for you when they get in. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Take that mic.
Was there, how does a Medicaid, program impacted by all of this? You mentioned the SNAP program. What about the people who are receiving Medicaid?
Well, the people who are receiving Medicaid, I'm not sure of what bills, and I can go through here and see which bills passed about Medicaid, but they did give some increase to seniors, a certain dollar amount. The increased minimum Medicaid personal needs allowance for residential care facilities, that's what I'm talking about, the $50 per month for individuals and $100 for couples. So that was a plus that they gave. You know, they hadn't increased the money for people who are in the nursing homes in I don't know how many years. Y'all know anybody in the nursing home?
100.
Pardon me? So they did pass that increase. That's all they could keep is, what they gonna do with that? So we passed that. HB 454 requires Medicaid coverage for doula services and support provided during and after childbirth. So they were concerned about that. They big on childbirth. So if you having some children, they'll help you have them, but they ain't gonna feed them after they get here. And what else on healthcare? They did a lot of things for the veterans through the health care, but some things that we were trying to change on the providers failed. That bill was brought by my seatmate, Dustin Miller, and it almost got out, but it didn't get out because we have providers that pay us back, and the state pay them, and we wanted to make sure we opened that up and to other providers, and that bill fell. And he is the chair of Health and Welfare, so he had a great bill, but it went all the way down to the wire, and it failed.
Not a question, I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody. My name is Vicki Jones, and I have a comment about something that Representative Marcell said with respect to the wills and having benefits when there are disasters, and the fact that people don't have wills and successions have not been done. She is absolutely correct. It's gonna prevent you from getting benefits. But we are having an expungement will clinic on September the 20th, and it's going to be at the South Branch Library. So we'll try to get something out prior to that time to let everybody know, but it'll be September 20th at South Branch Library.
Thank you.
It's on Glasgow. It is on 2210 Glasgow Avenue. Yes, ma'am.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the person to ask me.
I want to first say that, Denise, your work and your energy that you put in to represent the people are appreciated. I know I appreciate all that
Thank
you do down there. Thank you. My question was, the bill that you spoke of regarding the money to send students to private schools.
LA Gators, it's called.
Okay. The bill number for that, also the bill that you spoke about when you mentioned SNAP and how it will impact negatively toward African Americans, that bill, are those two the same? Were they authored by?
No, ma'am.
previous-
No, ma'am. What I was talking about SNAPs is in our budget. Everything comes before appropriation. Whatever that amount is, each department has to give us a breakdown of what the budget is gonna look like for FY '26, right? And '27. We do 5-year baselines on our budgets. So we have to have a look. They call it a snapshot, a glance for 5 years to know how it's gonna affect us. So SNAPs, DCSF, all of these different things that we have to fund, they have to show us in a budget what that's gonna look like and where we are with it. So when that came up, that was, that bill, it was just talking about the budget overall, and it showed that we were gonna need additional money for SNAPs and DCSF. LA Gators passed through the session, it flew through the session to pay for private schools last year, and it's just going into effect. So that was in the budget. It's the budgeted item, but that was this session that just passed. The Senate president did not allow the amount of dollars when it got over there that the governor wanted to put in that program. It was quite a bit of money, and he didn't let him, he gave him some, but he didn't give it all to him. So LA Gators is what they're talking about to fund private schools.
Okay, we are going to close this particular session. Oh, my goodness. We got a lot of information.
And I want to thank Ms. Rosa, who don't take no for an answer. I told Ms. Rosa, I don't know about that because, I'm just going to be in head surgery. She said, well, when you having surgery? Like a month before that, ma'am. She was like, well, you just come. And she was like, just come. And I thought about Reverend Domain. That's my friend. And I said,
And it was well worth it, wasn't it? Because
one, we got one question. You got one? He had his hand up.
I would like to know how the big, beautiful bill. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to know how the big, beautiful bill is going to affect people on Social Security.
Well, I'm not in the federal government. I'm on the state level, so we don't make those decisions. Those decisions are being made by Cassidy. Senator Cleo Fields is fighting for us up there, and Kennedy, Cassidy, Fields, and somebody else. I'm losing it, but it's several of them from Louisiana. But they claim that it's not, but it is. You know, our president said that he was not going to cut many things that he has cut. And so going in, we kind of knew what to expect, but we didn't know it would be on this level. So Social Security is going to be affected by the big, beautiful bill. I can get those bills and read through them and give you the dynamics of them, but we're definitely going to be affected throughout Louisiana on many ends. And I didn't bring it up, but the farmers are going to suffer in Louisiana because of the big, beautiful bill. And so they're trying to clean it up now with talking points, but at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers.
I would just like to say, too, I want to thank you for the fight that you are making for us. You go beyond the call of duty. And thank you so much for coming out, even though you had surgery. We really appreciate it.
And you know me because you was my next door neighbor, right?
That's right.
37th Street.
Someone who is inside that knows what is going on. So we're going to move to our next, thank you so much, Representative Marcell. Ms. Porter, okay.
Mrs. Sherry McCassell Garrett is a native of Baker, Louisiana. She is a graduate of Southern University with a major in early childhood education. She was employed by the East Baton Rouge Parish School System as an instructor. Since her retirement, Mrs. Garrett has participated as a volunteer with the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice organization. The focus of this organization aligns with the values of our presenter, that is, to empower the community to take actions necessary to direct their destiny. The goal of the organization is to equip fellow Louisianians with the knowledge they need to find their voice and where and when to use it. They also encourage people to register and vote. Our next presenter is Mrs. Sherry McCassell Garrett.
Good afternoon, or good morning. Thank you for that nice introduction. My name is Cherie McCassell Garrett, like she said, and I am a volunteer with Power Coalition. And what Power Coalition do? All the things that Representative Marcell said, get people to get out and vote. That's our power. That's what we face is people do not want to go to vote. and they don't want to register to vote. Now, at our table today, we have a lot of information about registering to vote, what goes on in the legislature, what goes on in the Senate, what bills has been passed. Keep the community up to date, what's going on as far as what's finna happen. That's what we do. We do phone banking. We do canvassing, knocking on doors. We let them know what bills are being passed, why you need to go and vote, why it's important before it happens. We keep the community in, with information on what's been to happen. So we do tabling. We go out into the communities. One of the things that's important that I would like to say that I have experienced a lot is with the young voters. I work in the school system. We do have young parents and young families. They don't want to go to vote. I don't want to put my name on there because I have a warrant out and they just trying to get my fingerprint. And all these politicians, all they want to do is get you to vote for them. When they win, you don't hear from them. So I would like to ask Ms. Marcell, Representative Marcell, before I leave today, what can I tell them when they say that? It's the younger voters. We get a lot of older voters that they are diligently voting and they're registering. And today on the table, I have the QR code. If anybody's in here that need to register, well, just that simple. All they have to do, everybody mostly have a cell phone. They have cell phones. All they have to do is when we're at those events, register right there. I tell them all you have to do is fill out the information right here, fill it out, hit submit. It's going straight to the voter's registration office. You don't even have to go down there. Simple, simple, simple. So that's what we do. That's our mission. And I would like to say we have a new team lead here in the local area for Power Coalition. He's our organizer. His name is Raymond Vincent. He's here with me today, and I would like him to come up and say just a few to introduce himself to the community for they can know who he is since we have a new presenter. And thanks so much for y'all coming out. Raymond.
Of course. Good morning, everyone. My name is Raymond Vincent. I am the new organizer for the Power Coalition, Power and Equity and Justice. What we want to do is promote everyone to become a power voter, which is vote in every election, promote equity and justice in the community, and hold elected officials accountable. So that's what we want to promote with Power Coalition. So thank you for allowing us to be here today.
And one more thing I'd like to say too is that at our table we have information about if you know anybody, make sure you stop by the table and get that information that's been formerly incarcerated. They think they can't vote too, but there are some rules that they can vote. Those are the rules. That's the information right there. Anybody have college students that's moving into the area, that information is there, how they can register to vote. High school students can register to vote now, but they have to be 18 to vote. But that's good information because they can put it on their resume. I've been a registered voter for 3 years. I'm ready. I already got their card. And also college students, high school students, and formerly incarcerated. Just come by my table, please, and get all that good information. Thank you.
I forgot something that's very important. I'm sorry, y'all. I got all into the fighting and stuff and forgot to tell y'all about these phones. Y'all know the new law about the phones? Huh? Nobody don't know? You cannot have it in your hand while you're driving, texting. You can't tell the people while I was dialing. You can't have it in your hand. Most of us have the one it's connected to our cars, and we can still talk while we're driving, but that is the law now. Started July 1. And so and most importantly, tell your children and your grandchildren. Those are the ones that be on the phone texting. They're going to get some tickets, and then they'll get some fines, and then I don't know how far it goes, but we definitely don't need them to do that. And I left that out. That's one of the things y'all need to spread. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let me tell you all, Power Coalition is a very powerful organization. They provide material that is just important to us as voters. And before you leave, please get some of the information from that table. Okay, bear with us a little bit. We're going to do our presentations for our two presenters at this time. Pastor?
What am I supposed to be doing? Oh, okay.
Well, she took one shot. The plaque says presented to the Honorable C. Denise Marcell, State Representative, District 61, State of Louisiana, for service rendered to Elm Grove Baptist Church, 1069 North 38th Street, given this 9th day of August 2025, Reverend Dr. Errol K. Domain, Senior Pastor. Thank you so much. Ms. Garrett? The pastor? We have another plaque for her. We appreciate all that she has done, and it reads basically the same. Thank you. Okay, we're almost to the end, you all. Really, I didn't know that we were going to get that much information, and we need that information. So we have a section here. Are you here? Is it on? Oh, well. Hello? Okay, this one is working. We have another section called Moving Forward. And from what we have heard from Representative Marcell, we have been doing some things here at Elm Grove, trying to get people educated about what's on the ballot, encouraging them to go out and vote, and encouraging others to go out and vote. Let me give you a little bit of history. Our pastor, sometimes you wonder sometimes, but anyway, we love him to death, okay? But one Sunday, he was up preaching about Project 2025. But along with that sermon, he gave us a handout that listed some of the items that was going to be included in Project 2025. This was like in August, September something of 2024, just before the presidential election. So he passed that out, and following service that Sunday, I said to him that I was going to share it with some of the organizations that I'm a member of. But lo and behold, when I went home and I started reading and I started thinking, I said, people need to know this. This is a dangerous instrument, okay? So my father's a preacher and I am a Christian, so I just started praying. And then I talked to my son and I told him what I wanted to do, that I needed to tell people about this. So then I came in and I talked to Pastor Domain and I told him, and he sort of looked at me. And he said, okay, because my plan was, I felt that I needed to go to churches and tell people about what was in Project 2025 and to go out and vote. So I started by calling ministers that I knew or someone who was in that congregation that I knew, and I explained Project 2025 briefly to them and asked them if I would be able to come into their church, their sanctuary, on a service day and tell their congregations about Project 2025. Give me 8 to 10 minutes. And the reception was phenomenal. About 10 or 12 churches, the ministers that I spoke with, allowed me to come in and speak to their congregations about Project 2025. And that was for the November election, and you know about the way we elect the president, but people went out and voted. Then the following in April, we had the amendments that we had to vote on. I sent information to the churches, and one pastor said to me, please come and explain this to my congregation. So I started all over again, and I prepared a transcript and what have you, and I went out to these churches and explained those amendments and what it meant when you voted a certain kind of way. Because Representative Marcell did not say anything about how they write these ballots. Those ballots are written so that you do not know what you are voting for, and they plan it that way. So I went out for several, the next election was with the district attorney's office. And as you know, we defeated all of those amendments. All 4 amendments failed. And someone was so angry, they said somebody from out of state or something caused us not to vote the wrong way, okay? So, but anyway, we defeated that. We went out and voted. More people went out and voted. Now, if we have been successful, and we have listened to what Representative Marcell has said, then we need to continue this. And with their saying that we need to talk to the children, to young people, to encourage them to go out and vote. Our pastor is constantly telling us we need to do for ourselves, do what we can for ourselves, because we need to take care of our business. And when they make these laws are affecting us as well as generations to come. And they know what they are doing. Our 4 parents died. Many of them died because they were fighting for our right to go out and vote. So we want to continue to our efforts to increase the vote and to go out and vote. And as a result of our pastor, what he has done, and the impetus from that particular sermon, we now have a legislative committee here at Elm Grove. It's a beautiful committee of hard workers. Would those committee members please stand? Ms. Stewart, Mrs. Trustclair, Ms. Williams, our deacon, Brother Clay, Mrs. Horton, and Mrs. Porter. Let's give them a round of applause. They are hard-working people. And in conclusion, we're in a battle for our life, and it's going to be a continuing battle. We've got to continue to move forward. We must be vigilant. We must watch, fight, pray, and vote. And encourage others to vote. And one other thing that we need, something that we need to do, we need to support our candidates financially. That costs money for them to run for office. If it's $10, give them $10 or something, or whatever we can to support them so that they can go, feel that we value their vote and what they do. So we want to keep the faith. We want to let our voices be heard and continue to move forward. And in doing things like this, you got to pray a whole lot, okay? And sometimes you become discouraged, bewildered, and confused. But then you know that what you are doing is beneficial for your brothers and sisters, as well as for generations to come. So I love the serenity prayer. That serenity prayer says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you, and we want to encourage you to continue to vote. At this time, we have recognitions of ministers that we invited. Our committee invited 7 churches. We have Reverend Conrad. Okay, I know it was a con. We are so glad to see you here. Do we have other ministers that are, as well as members of your congregation, are here with you? Would you please stand? Members of the congregation. St. Mary. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Okay. We also have other guests from other churches that are here. Would you all of our guests, please stand. We are glad that you came. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. And we want you to know, if you need some help, just contact us and we will do what we can. We are learning, but we are determined to make a difference in the people that go out and vote. We will now have closing remarks by the pastor, the closing prayer, and our refreshments are in the multi-purpose room.
So it says sometimes you wonder, you don't have to wonder. If you see me or hear me, I'm fighting. I'm fighting for black people. I'm fighting for poor people. I'm fighting for humanity, which makes me pro-Jesus. That's it. Please stand. Let me pronounce God's blessings on your life. Don't stand. Now the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord lift up his face upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance unto you and give you peace and help and hope and love and prosperity and justice and good success in everything you do. And all the believers said amen.
Our multi-purpose room is right down here. Someone will guide you. Okay.
Also, I grew up in a rebate section, and I try to be organized. And I wanted to ask Ellen one time, where were you